All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Track Feedback. No, it's not Track Feedback. Welcome to Steve Talking on Autopilot. This is a label submissions review. So what we're going to do is play through some tracks and just get them into groups and figure out what we have so far. I'm going to do a little bit of BPM tapping. I want to figure out the BPM of the tracks. Maybe I'm going to warp them so that I can skip around and just easily get to different parts. And I'm not looking to make any major decisions about like this gets published or this gets rejected. This is not that kind of video. This is what I would do as a DJ if somebody gave me a folder of tracks and I was figuring out how do I put these together to play in a set. So I want to figure out which ones fit together. And then eventually we're going to arrive at a series of compilations that are going to go out maybe monthly, whatever, starting in June. So yeah, Scott, what's happening? This is one of your tracks I just got to. We got Mr. Melvis. Welcome back to the scene. And Morton Mindbender, the heavy hitter with the effects pedals up there. So, all right, I got my screen up. Let me start by introducing the session because we're not doing a whole lot of Spectrum Analyzer. I do have my Spectrum set up. I built something like a basic DJ set where I got a controller to go up and down. I set up a knob where I can scroll up and down through the session. And you can see up top, there are 4 channels. We got house, techno, downtempo, and hardstyle, psytrance. A couple of those. The big list is house, so I started with that. I found one track so far that I felt like it fit in the downtempo list more. And you know what I'm going to do is activate some of our new master channel scenes to put in the BPM, so I can just launch the scenes and be able to get to the track at the tempo I want. Turn up my broadcast level a little bit. I think that's 121, which is fast enough to play in a house set, but the vibe of that double pulse. Oh, Piva's here, what's happening? You could mix this into a house set, but for me, I want to keep this one nearby the downtempo world. In a DJ set, I would bring this up out of 110 BPM, use this as like a bridge track to get across to 120. So I moved that over to the downtempo zone. The next one I moved over and recategorized. This one was coming in at 130 BPM, and from the sound of the kick drum over here, as you will hear, this kicks in, really feeling more like a techno track than a house track. Oh, Scott, was that 122? Okay, we can adjust that over there. So I slid this track over here into the techno group. And I'm really happy with the sound of all these. I love it being able to play through and just hear these tracks and just feel like, yeah, like this is, I want to play this, you know? And, you know, when there's a big kick drum and it doesn't have that like, doesn't have like that hand clap and backbeat, then we'll keep that nearby techno. Let's go back to the top of the list. And by the way, if anybody out there hears me say something like, I want to play this or I don't want to play this, remember, I don't DJ everything. You know, there's tracks that I might not actually have a use for in a DJ set. And that doesn't mean it's a bad track. And it doesn't mean that it's getting rejected for publishing. It's just like, it's sort of like how I interpret stuff for the audience of people who come to the events that I'm doing, which are closer to house and some trippy tech stuff, but not like hardcore or even, well, I don't know. I guess that doesn't really need to be said. But I just wanted to point it out. My personal preference is not the ultimate of good and bad. So, sounds like lounge music. And also, I want to keep this down to an hour. So let's check Mindbender. And to give this a little bit of a lesson feel, what I really do when I get a new track is I unwarp it, drag it in, and press play. And start tapping it out, right? You can see I'm tapping around 120. Sometimes I hit it exactly on the numbers. Another thing I do is I map keyboard keys Z and X to these tempo nudge buttons, phase nudge up and down, because then I can beat match the metronome with the music and get it clicking on the downbeat. Once I got the metronome locked in on the beat and I know what the tempo of the track is, turn off metronome, hit warp, and make sure the start marker is lined up. Right click, set 1.1 here. Right click, do warp 120 BPM from here. Move the loop brace. And this is basically what I do to get a track ready. And this is where you can learn a lot about layout and form. If you can easily see, oh, bam, 33 bars right here, something's going on. 97 bars, we get to a breakdown. And this is a track we heard pretty recently in track feedback. Really like the vibe. Oh, Scott, have you not heard this one before? This one is a trippy deep one from Mindbender that just has this bass line. I think we just heard this on Wednesday, right? Let's get that bass line back in. Check that bass line out. Deep sub. This is definitely solid in the house dimension and kind of closer on the deeper side. I'm going to make this one purple. Been MIA lately, like paper planes. Work's been crazy. Yeah. Everybody, man, springtime kicked in and everybody's like, oh my God, crises and shit. So another thing I do with my DJ sets is I do color code tracks to get a feel for like the flavor. You know, hyper jump up and down stuff would be like orange, yellow, red, and smoother, deeper stuff would be closer to cool colors, blue, purple. Pretty straight up. So here's one from Ben Hunt. I'm gonna jack this a little bit because it's pre-mastered. Apologies to Pivclit for my horrific gain boosting right there. And also that Mighty Vibrations release is super cool. Thanks for putting that up. I just downloaded that today. All right, so the method for warping tracks, if you're going to DJ in Ableton, is get the track going, tap out the tempo, and with electronic music, it's pretty much going to be on the beat, like an integer tempo, and not like a 0.83 or something like that. So I'm thinking 122. Yep, tempo's in, so let's warp the track, reset the start point, put a marker there, set 1.1.1, right click, warp 122 from here. That's how you get the metronome locked in. And the reason you want to do that is so when you're DJing and you launch the track, Ableton is going to put your track on the grid and it'll be beat matched with the other track. That's the whole point of that. And again, the only reason I want to warp right now is so I can just jump around, feel different parts of the tracks, and make sure we understand what's happening here. Look at that DJ going into the red, I know. And this is a cool track too. I mean, emotionally cool, like blue. So we'll make that one blue. And fits in the house dimension. Another one from Ben Hunt. And let's go get ready for loudness. Okay. I think I do want to see my meters. I just pulled in my broadcast meter. You can't see that, but I can see it. Now, I want to hear some comments from you guys. Do you think, seriously, should we put out one compilation that's all house tracks within 120 to 128 so that somebody could take it and just make a mix set and bring them all into a house set? Or for the first compilation, should we have like 2 of each, where there's a couple down tempo, a couple house, a couple techno, and finish up with like a crazy ass Ian Waters hardstyle track? Because that would be something to show the strength of the group, a whole bunch of different styles, and like kind of a something for everybody, hoping that maybe like if you buy it, you would find 2 tracks that you could play in your set. So what do you think is better? Should we do compilations like stay within one genre, or compilations to show like the rainbow of tempos? Because that's, I haven't decided yet, and it's kind of up to the audience what they want to get, you know? Top tempo. Oh my god, I'm in the wrong freaking app. Trying to tap tempo. Piv, keep it in genres. That seems to be that's the Beatport answer, right? So that a release comes out and it has something that can be categorized, slapped into the genre, and promoted to a certain audience. I think we're coming in 114 on this one with Ben, is that right? Yeah. I'm going to move this one over to the down-tempo zone because that's where it feels like it fits for me. And again, you could work that into a different type of a set. Doesn't mean it's only down-tempo. Okay, those are good answers. So Scott's saying, depends on what you want to represent and how you want the mix to be used. Yeah, if it's a DJ tool, then one genre or at least. If we're representing the group as a whole, go for a wide sampler. I'm leaning towards compilations that have a flavor, like this one is a house type vibe, that maybe we could go across a few tempos of house, like I said, like 120 to 128. And I think that would make sense because it's easier to promote with stuff like hashtags. You know, just hit the hashtags for deep house, house, club, whatever. And for promoting the strength of the group, that's something that can happen over time where we promote like clips of upcoming compilations and track feedback we're doing. And we can do like a lot of little like active preview sort of things to show that there are different styles. Because I don't want it to be like Mixatexture is only a house label or only a techno label. So maybe the voice of the label could eventually have many genres, and then each compilation is focused to a specific BPM range, which is an audience range. That seems to be the easiest to promote. And we're not doing like, we're not doing rock and jazz and, you know, like everything in music. It's all going to be electronic and bass and stuff. Share your love, Ben Hunt. Okay, so we're going to take this one next door to down-tempo land. And Denats, everybody knows what's going to happen with Denats. Here, I'll do my impression of Denats. Which is all respect. Having such a cool style with bass, sub, wumps, and chops. I actually listened to this already today, so. And I tapped this out at 126, so that's 126 on Denats. And let's give the Denats a little bit. Oh, a piv clip. That's a really good point. If you heard, if somebody goes on like Bandcamp and plays track one and they don't like it, they're gone, right? I know what that feels like. So that's a good argument to say do compilations. And Scott, yeah, this is not a test. I'm committed to doing several releases for the rest of 22, and we got the material. I mean, there's no reason not to, right? So it's intended to be a series and an actual label, genre specific. Seems like that's the way to do it. Okay, this is clearly a total house track, and Denats has that kind of up and down bounce feel, so I'm going to give this like an orangey color. Hey, how do you say hey, hey? Did I warp this one already? Let's check where we're at. Oh, the rock jazz comment. Well, no, you're part of this because you're doing bass music and electronic sounds. What I meant is we're not doing like a recording session with an upright bass player and acoustic microphones and a grand piano and jazz compositions for a jazz audience. Like you're doing music that fits with an electronic chill out audience, which is what makes it cool. And I know you're on the fringe end of the BPM because you're not in like a strict dance music BPM, but I didn't mean to exclude you with that comment. And also you're doing some cool work on other people's tracks. So you're in there. Mr. Melvis is going to have his own album. Okay, I'm feeling 125 is close enough for that one. So let's go set that 125 so I remember. And this one's going to get up to the green dimension. Solid house track, has the depth and the vocal and everything. So that's cool. Inverted. Where is... It's so weird on push. Like on the screen, that's very clearly green, but on my push, that's like yellow. Even on a house compilation, ending with a chill or avant-garde track makes sense. Totally, yeah. I liked it a lot. Like when there's been like house albums that come out, and then the last track is like 110 BPM, and you can hear the house quality production, but it's a chill out jam. That's a good strategy. I like that. And I would be open to having like a house compilation that's got some 115 BPM on the slower organic style stuff. Okay, we're not warped yet. Let's tap it in. Warp this one for 122. My biggest problem is going to be what color to make the tracks. Do this in the green land. Keep that in house. Save the set. This reminds me of how I felt hearing rap music on cassette tape the first time. Like boom bap beats. Tenet soundtrack, yeah. And 126. Oh yeah. Oh, and Scott, congratulations on your Bebop Music release. It just came out. Yeah, let's see what this bass is doing. And that's a pre-master too. Dang. Conga time. Cool. All right, it's the Canada show. Oh, you never heard the metronome? Yeah. Beep, beep. So you got a nice little set around 125, Scott. Yeah, cranking it out. Here's the Beatport preview where you get that minute and a half out of the breakdown and build up. This one's going to go a little bit in the lavender direction. These times feel... Yep, definitely playable in a house set. What did I say, 125? Save to the hard drive. Did you do your backups today? Oh, this one. Who are these guys? Mindbender and Steve Knotts. Do I know my own tempos? And this one actually, this is another one that's playable in a house set, but it's got some acid and psy vibes to it, like, meow, meow. kind of swampy, right? Let's make this one like a weird green color. All right, cool. So that's a good sense of these. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 8 tracks. I mean, I don't know if I would put out 4 of Canada tracks on one release, but it's nice to see we've got a bunch of things coming together that could fit on a house release. Tune. Yeah, that one's fun. Okay, let's get on to some of the techno jams and see what these sound like. And I want to go to here. Dink, dink, dink. Doink. What time is it? 12:20. Good. And let me know, how does this feel for you guys for a review? Like, I just wanted to play through all the different submissions, get a refresher of how they sound, how they feel, what they are all about, and then just get a sense of how they fit together. So tell me if this is helpful for you guys. That's coming in 126. Yeah. I don't know, the techno might all just stay gray. It works. Okay, cool. Thanks. Tice, Whiteout. We just heard this on Wednesday, and this is not quite. This is not the master version, I think, because I think it's still getting updated. But let's get the tempo in. Was this like 130? Weird, there's something distorting in the track with the sound of the metronome. Stay in there. Okay, so 132 Whiteout. Clearly that track's gonna be white. And that one's feeling good. Good. All right, another mind bender. $124, $125. This is the pitch drift, a detuned one with the crackly dust on the sound. Scott, really like the big lead sounds. Was that for the Whiteout track or for this Mindbender track? Let's warp, lock him in at 124. And detuning, pitch bending, make that dark blue. I'm just curious, what is this waveform? When it's zoomed out, it just looks like a brick. I'm gonna zoom in and see some of that. Yeah. Oh, cool. So you like the big lead sounds. Is that this one? Yes. I'm with you on that. That's a good sound. And Cyrus detuned. So the generator. Whoa. That's a brick wall. Just for fun, I want to turn this down to see if it looks different. No. You got to zoom in, my people. That's like the zoom level that looks good as a tattoo. Okay, what am I doing? Tap, 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 tap. So part of the techno compilation is going to have a bit of an acid feel. Some of it's definitely going to have a very hard Shepherd's kind of feel, because I'm sure he'll put something in. And then there's going to be that kind of big, like, spacious thing that Tyson and Nats were doing. Dude slammed, right? Let's make this one like a dark blue too. Yeah, I like that track. And as always, I hate skipping through these tracks and skipping so much of it, because I would like to actually just play through these and chill out and listen to them all and have a cold beer with all y'all and chill out and actually listen to music. But we're doing this on a is what it is kind of thing. And I like this. Already I'm feeling like there's a coherence in this group of tracks. These techno gems, I really feel like you could just DJ a set and it would all be good. I would put them in order from slow to fast and then just kind of go through it and see how it feels. 124. What am I doing? Scott, how many tracks total for each compilation? Between 10 and 15. Probably more than 10, around a dozen. I don't want to go much more than 15 because it should be something you can download and manage and not feel like, oh, I'll listen to it later, and then you just never do, you know? So, the Matt Schultz. Matt Schultz, the question is, how many tracks do you think are going to fit on a compilation? I'm thinking about between 12 and 15. How does that sound to you guys? Seems like 124 is the right tempo. Did I loop? Yep, warp. And warp, and grab this scene. 24. 134. Similar to a CD, I know. I guess I'm kind of imprinted with that concept of an album or an EP or what a double album is or something like that. But I mean, I'm totally open to like, what do you think is the right thing? Do you think 20 tracks is manageable for a compilation? I guess the real question is, do we do a ton of tracks and have the compilations like not as often, or do you go for like every 3 weeks putting out 10 tracks? Because I know it's always good to stay in front of mind for the audience and be like updated, new stuff, constant promo, new thing, you know, so people don't forget about you. Piv is saying 8 to 10 tracks, around 80 minutes, 74 minutes. How many times did you make a 74-minute mixtape, right? Yeah, 8 to 10 tracks. I think 8 is maybe, if I was going to put out a compilation of 8 tracks, I would definitely pick the best 8 completely and not have any filler or anything else different. Just like slamming 8 tracks. Could work. 10 to 15 if they're grown out of minimal than 5. Mr. Melvis, I like it. 10 to 12 every 3-4 weeks. Keeps you in front of the audience. Gotcha. I'm with you on that. All right, cool. So, Paul Robinson is rocking it here. Listen to that low end. Morton, did you work on that? Is this a Mindbender low end? 74 was mini disc? Wait a minute. Are we having a Nelson Mandela alternate universe moment? Because I remember 74-minute CDs. Why am I remembering that? Am I in a different universe from you guys? Make this one green. Check that bass out. Dig it. Okay, and for our next track, Yeah, there were 74-minute CDs. Oh, John Vault and the Evil Robots. Oh, I just tapped a perfect 136. Do you guys, can you tap tempo the same with both hands? I think with my one hand, I'm like better at it, and my other hand, CDR is 80, okay. This track is No Mercy, right? Thorium is not allowing it. Well, Thorium better allow me to play this in a DJ set. So this is gonna be, no, you know what, we're gonna just make this one black. 0, deactivate. Sorry, Shepherds. Shepherds will put something else on a Mixotexture compilation. And thanks for sharing the No Mercy download on the Drive link on Discord. I grabbed that. Oh, you talked to Shepherds about it. They said Mixotexture label, man. Who's listening to them, man? All right, changing gears. Down tempo. Feels like a 115. I remember hearing this before. We were talking about Ween. Just trying to get the downbeat of the metronome on the downbeat of the music. Right here. I'm gonna call that one 114. Waterfall is a good name for this track. Let's make it blue. Canada detunes everything, yeah. Cool. All right, good. 12:30, you're jamming through things. Who is this guy? Facts. And on the topic of publishing in different channels, I really want to do an interview with our friend Michael Callan in Switzerland. I think he's maybe in Zurich, because he's done a bunch of licensing successfully. And a lot of people, anybody who's making instrumental music, can basically explore the world of licensing and getting paid for your tracks. And I think for a lot of us who are making this kind of music, it might be much more satisfying to just put out something, license it commercially, get a check, like a bunch of money, and have that be what it is. Because honestly, electronic music is almost free to produce. You don't have to hire a bass player to come in and overdub and hire, all these like session musicians. You can just crank out tracks if you get into that world. So that's another thing that if we find out that we have too many tracks, or we have tracks that don't really fit with a style, or if we don't have an audience for a super wide range of music, I would love to get some kind of a connection where we can make a pathway to licensing, so that it's just easier for people. So we can have track feedback, review, mixing, mastering help, and then just like shoop over to the licensing world. Get synced. Is that synced? I don't think it's 112. I think it's 110. And all dub techno is in the blue zone. All right, here we go, Mr. Melvis. CDRW was 74 minutes. 100 BPM. And this kind of track doesn't really need to have a BPM label. That's going to be orange because those guitars are screaming. And you know, I feel a connection between Mr. Melvis's music and the psytrance, like that Osric Tentacles prog rock, trippy stoner rock kind of thing. There's a lot of really like spacey, weird, cool music in there. Michael is Piv. Yes, Michael Clit is Piv Clit. The identity is revealed. The secret cannot be contained. I'm not even sure if I want to warp Mr. Melvis's tracks. Oh, listen to that. All right, cool. So we got that one in 100. Michael Piv Denclit. Call that 111. Solidly in the chill out space. I think about driving with this kind of track, like this track is totally sync licensing ready. That's a yeah. Yeah, Mr. Melvis, definitely a candidate for making some money licensing stuff. And Sunday Dub. Oh, wrong bracket. And this is 60, right? I was going to try mixing a 120 on top of this. And the dub siren. Do we have a deep purple color that's deep enough for this track? I don't know, but I think it's going to be that one. John Fulton, Evil Robots. Always felt like I wouldn't fit in with the Mixotexture crew because I don't make dance music, but the last couple makes me feel better. Good. Yeah, I know you're on the guitar end of things with also an electronic thing. So there's a lot of bands that actually did some crazy ass electronics with guitar. Radiohead, obviously, but Stereolab and a ton of interesting bands. What was that one? Symphonic Orchestra? Is that the name of their band? Where you just get like, you know, it would have the same feel of the music, but the sounds could come from all different kinds of instruments and it would all come together and just be in this like electronic space, which I like a lot. Yeah, Mindbender just cranked out some shit on this one. I'm gonna warp this at 60 BPM for all time. Check it out. Symphonic Orchestra, right? And I think Morton added some of the little squiggly effects and stuff, right? Some ear candy. Cinematic Orchestra, thank you. What was I saying? Symphonic? Yeah, Cinematic Orchestra. I knew I was like, something was not right. Yeah. That's like a watching a movie of elephants having sex. Okay, now we're going to change gears. So prepare yourselves for the sound that is DJ Waters.
Every once in a while, a new generation will witness a glimpse of huge future.
After that last one, I thought this was going to be 200, but it's only 135. This has kind of a bright vibe to it, right? It's like jumping out. Oh, Late Night Tales. Like a podcast mix. And you know what? This 135 track is going right over here in techno. Because that ride cymbal, straight kick drum, acid leads. It's a good deep techno track, but it's not hard style, I wouldn't say. Now, these ones were in the folder, and I'm going to lecture y'all. Probably, I don't think it's you guys exactly. I don't know whose tracks these are. I can take a guess, but it was in the folder with just this file name, Keep It Flowing Mastered, Noise Control, Power Drop. And everybody in the audience, now and forever, put your name in your file name. So that anytime somebody downloads your track, gives it to their friend, or you leave your USB drive somewhere and somebody finds it and they want to know what it is, you got to have your name on there. I personally like to, I think I prefer, like if you're on CDJs and you're scrolling through files, I kind of like to see the track name first and the artist name second. Because after a while, you have 10 tracks by one artist. If you have to like scroll to select the artist and then wait for it to go to like read through the artist name so you can read the file name on some older CDJs, it takes forever. Or not forever, it can take like 3 seconds, but when you're looking for a track, you don't want to take 3 seconds to read each file name. So I like to have the file name set up personally, I think, with the name of the song and then the name of the artist, but I think it's standard format to do the artist name first. Sci-tech, techno, yeah. All right, anyway, keep it flowing. Let's just go through these and see what they are. Looking like a 123 kind of situation. CDJ 1000s, right? So you write the track IDs and everything like as your metadata. This 122, keep it flowing. And this does feel like a hard style because it's got double time, Doop, 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 doop. It's really actually 244, not 122. Get ready. Got it. Noise control. Hell yeah. Oh, you write it on paper in your CD wallet folder, right? Okay, now that's definitely in the Frenchcore style. And honestly, I was thinking about the Frenchcore thing. That is such a niche listening audience that I'm not sure how to handle a compilation when there's that hardcore of sound. And DJ Waters definitely has an audience and a style and a following. So that might be something where we just do a DJ Waters release of like his music because nobody else is making 200 BPM. Right? Oh, and Scott, I saw you you commented on the album cover that you liked with the smoke and the white name. That was Maxime who made that one, Mark Troy. And I put that on the thumbnail for this because I like the idea of a template cover where we can just change the artist name and have like a slight variation and have something kind of neutral. If you missed our earlier discussions, we were talking about having a simple theme that's easy to promote and print and have like different sizes. I mean, like scale it to square, rectangular, bigger, smaller. So that's why I pulled that one out. All right, cool. All those are going to be, I think I want to make these like the brightest yellow we got. Hardcore will be that color. All right, cool. So save, we're done. That's what I wanted to do today. So we got some answers. We got a group of techno tracks that feel good together like a set. We got Shepherds, No Mercies, Not Allowed, XXX, Individual Death. Template for brand recognition and individuality. Yes, cool. Now we got the down-tempo universe up here. So let's put these over here. And this is actually really how I build DJ sets, if anybody's curious. I might not have like a 4-channel mix. What I would do is like this. I would have 2 channels for house and kind of go like that and alternate them so that channels 1 and 2 would go out to 2 analog channels on the mixing board. And I would do all my EQ, volume, and mute and stuff by hand on the board because you really need your fingers for that kind of stuff. And then the 2 tracks, I set up some keyboard keys like you can see like Q, W, E, R, that kind of thing. Or I can use pad controllers to go up and down and launch tracks. So if you want to learn more about how I DJ with Ableton, I can, for anybody who's watching the replay, I'll be happy to do a DJing workshop to show how I set up tracks, warp tracks, put them on the session view, and put a set together that you can play through and turn into a really cool live set. And what's really fun about that is once you have that together and you can consistently play a nice set of beat match music without thinking too much about it, then you can get into using resampling, other effects in your set, or having like track 3 be just acapellas and vocals and samples and stuff, and play the samples and put effects on the samples and have those turn into buildups on top of the existing tracks. And beyond that, you can play with mics and hand drummers or any kind of freestyle people or whatever, and really make the use of Ableton Live as a live instrument that's got sounds coming in and looping and going out and everything. All right. Yeah, Pivclit, I think at least 2 of those were DJ Waters. Maybe, I think one of them was not, but Noise Control was. I think Keep It Flowing maybe was not. Oh, no, that's pretty fast. No, wait. Uh-oh. All right, I'm going to lose my mind if I play these at the wrong speed. All right, so thanks for hanging out and watching, and thanks a lot for helping me answer these questions and figure it out. It seems like doing compilations focused on one genre per release is a pretty good idea. We can stretch a little bit and have some down tempo at the end or have a couple of outside things, and then we'll aim for a release schedule that's frequent enough that we're staying in the front of mind for people and build up an audience who's into this kind of bass music. Yeah, it did kind of sound cool at 122, right? I think I'll put these back because I don't quite want to do that yet. And please keep submitting tracks. I love it when I see like Den Mastering and Mindbender doing some final stem mixes and mastering for people's tracks that come through track feedback. That makes me so happy using professional skills, getting real advice, getting tracks done, bringing them up to actual professional level that is done. It's a great thing to see. When I started Mixotexture, I was thinking, oh, I'll teach people how to be good with Ableton and make tracks they like. And that turned into making tracks that we can share and track feedback and comment on. And now it's like, well, shit, these are coming out on labels. This is real music. So I'm super happy about all that. It's taking on a life of its own for sure. It's kind of like, it's like a little airplane taking off. It's like up in the air. It's like, oh, we're flying around. It's not like a huge jetliner yet or a spaceship, but it might become a spaceship over time. If you have any questions, I'm at steve@mixotexture.com. Everybody who's watching right now is clearly in the Discord crew and everything, but anybody who might be watching on the replay, check us out on Discord and on the Facebook group. You can reach me, steve@mixotexture.com, and look for a compilation coming out in June, which is like a month and a half away. May, April. Yeah, 2 months, month and a half away. So I'm glad we got some stuff in order. We haven't decided which compilation to put out first. That's going to be another question for another time. And hopefully we can get another good 10 or 12 tracks at least into submissions so we can figure out which compilation we're going to put out. Any of y'all got any questions? Thanks, dudes. All the Dutyheimers. Oh, how did you get that comment up on the screen like that? Yes, keep it in genres. I don't know. And oh, it's 1 o'clock. I got something to do, so I do have to get off. And we will see you tomorrow for normal track feedback from tracks in the Discord crew. Right. Amazing tracks. Yeah, great work, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here.